So, hi everyone. Thank you as well, Zoe, for coming to speak to me today on this important topic. It's definitely one that's close to home for myself as well, and it's a pleasure as well for you to share this experience with me. So, firstly, could you just introduce yourself, please, briefly?
Yeah, so my name's Zoe. I've been friends with Josh here for years now. I live just outside of London. I'm a teacher. I teach PE in secondary schools. Been really into my fitness and my health since I was younger. It's kind of my main drive in life, my main focus, that alongside my music and going out with my mates, which is how I met Josh here at a music festival. So yeah, that's the main sort of things about me is my music and my sport. And yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely. We met up a few times and we, especially at
Yeah.
concerts. So, could you just describe to the viewers today on like what are we talking about? What is the subject for today?
So you asked me about my drinking, about how drinking's not really been a part of my life at all. A little bit when I was a teenager, which I'm sure we'll get into a bit more. But how I sort of navigate my social life and such without alcohol, and about how that kind of impacted me growing up, about my social life, and also how my ADHD kind of played a role in that, and how that impacts me as well in my social life.
Yeah, definitely. Because like I haven't drunk for 3 years either, and I know like you
Yeah,
and I have had a few conversations about this
yeah,
privately about some like peer pressure,
yeah,
etc. So I'm
yeah.
looking forward to delving into this conversation today. So how old were you when drinking first become part of your social life?
The first time I remember it being like a massive deal was when I was sort of like 14, 15 at school, house parties, things like that. It never appealed to me. My dad doesn't drink either, not through any reason other than by choice. So he's not an ex-alcoholic, he isn't in recovery, it isn't medical, it's just personal choice. My dad's never been a drinker. Um, all through his life, he's kind of been in situations where people drink. He's massively into his music as well, like me. Um, he played football at quite a high level when he was younger, so like celebrations after that, he was always surrounded by it, but he was never into the drinking. And I don't know if it was following suit. It didn't appeal to me. Genetics, I don't know, but it just never appealed to me either. I remember going to a New Year's Eve party when I was 16, just 16, or maybe 15 actually, and getting absolutely off my face on WKDs because I'd never been a drinker. So like two or three drinks and I was on the floor. My
Yeah.
dad picked me up from the party the next morning, driving home. I had to get him to pull over the car because I was like, Dad, I do not feel good. He was like, yeah, that's what happens. And I was like, and he was really chill about it. He wasn't annoyed at all. He was like, you're a teenager, you're going to have fun with your mates. But that's the first time I remember drinking alcohol. And I don't remember any of the night before. I don't remember any of the fun of the drinking the alcohol. I just remember having to pull the car over on the way home because I felt so rough driving back from my mate's house. And it was like, it's January, it's freezing outside, and I've got all the windows open.
Yeah.
And Dad's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm warm, I'm burning up, I can't handle it. Like, yeah. So that's probably my earliest experience of alcohol.
Yeah, but it's just interesting in what we mentioned. Like sometimes drinking just doesn't appeal to people. It
No,
doesn't.
I don't know why I did it. I don't know if it was like, I don't know if it appealed. It probably did appeal to me back then. I don't think there was any peer pressure elements of it because I've been to loads of parties where I just drink water or Diet Coke and it was never an issue. I think I
Yeah.
kind of got to the age where I was like, yeah, this is like fun. I want to get drunk. And I probably did enjoy being drunk, but I didn't enjoy the feeling the next day. I know that much.
No, and we all remember our hangovers as well.
Yeah.
But did you feel pressure to drink growing up or socially?
Um, Not too much. Like in my friendship circle, I was always the one that wasn't the big drinker. So when everyone was sort of started dabbling in it at first, I just sort of joined in with that. So I did drink when I was in my teens. It was when I was 20 I gave up, and that was nearly 7 years ago now, and I haven't drunk since. And in my social life since then, to be honest with you, most of the people I surround myself are really good about it. Like obviously the people that I'm friends with, the people I hang out with, like when I come up to Wales for a weekend, I hang out with all the lads in Wales. When I'm out with my friends here in London, all of them know I'm not a drinker, and none of them feel the need to say to me like, "Oh, Zoe, you're not having a drink tonight." It's just a given that I won't be, and without like blowing my own trumpet, like I'm a laugh without the drink.
Yeah.
Like I'm not introverted whatsoever. I'm not quiet. I'm not shy. I'm very sociable. So I don't need it to go and have a good time. Like my girlfriend will have a few drinks and then she'll be a bit more chatty. She'll go on the dance floor, and before that, you probably wouldn't see her on a dance floor and you wouldn't see her talking to everyone. Whereas I'll be on the dance floor and you'd think I'm the most drunk in the room, and I'll be two glasses of water in because I just have the confidence and I
Yeah.
don't care enough not to. So for my friends, it's never been something they've peer pressured me into. You get comments more from people you don't know. So if I go out and I'll meet a new group of people and they're like, "Oh, what are you drinking?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not drinking tonight." They're like, "Oh, go on, just have one," or "It's a wedding, just have one," or "It's a party," and I'm like, "No, I'm all right, thanks. I don't want one. And then
Yeah.
they get all awkward and they don't know whether you're not drinking because you've got a history with drink and it's a bit like it could be a really like tricky situation for you, or medical reason. Like you can kind of see people don't want to ask, like, oh, why don't you drink? Like it's like this massive thing, and I'm like, I just don't want to. Like, but yeah, it's more people I don't know that try to peer pressure you into it than people I do know.
Yeah, definitely. And I couldn't agree more as well with that. Like, I've experience where I felt like with you and my close friends, when I announced I wasn't drinking,
Mm,
actually, it was just accepted. When
yeah.
I was under the impression, like, oh, are my friends going to judge me or am I not going to be
Mm,
invited out anymore?
yeah.
Did you feel or think that at first or
Not
no?
so much with the friends I had, but it was always a
Yeah,
thing when I made new friends.
yeah,
Like I was, my girlfriend plays rugby, and we were in Sweden on rugby tour not that long ago. I was out there with her, and everyone after the game was really, really drunk, like end of like celebrations, all this sort of stuff, and everyone's trying to get me to have shots and have drinks and have a
yeah,
cigarette, have a smoke, do whatever it is they're taking, and I'm like, oh, I'm not into that, thank you. They're like, so what do you do? Like if you
yeah,
don't drink and you don't smoke,
yeah,
like what do you do? And I'm like, and this is why I'm not friends with people like you, because my friends all just accepted it straight away and went, cool, like no bother. Like we're not friends with you because you drink, we're friends with you for you.
yeah,
Whereas other people were kind of like, oh, that's a bit boring. Or like, what do you do on a night out then? Or like, oh, you're no fun to hang around with. And you can see them like instantly pull back. And I don't know whether that I've always perceived it as that's their own insecurities. They don't like the idea that they're going to be drunk doing God knows what, unaware of what they're doing. And I'm sober enough to see them do it and remember it the next day.
yeah,
um that's always kind of been one of the reasons I think people get a bit weird about it, because it's like if everyone's drunk together and everyone makes a fool of themselves when they're drunk, it doesn't matter, whereas I can then the next day remember what they were doing. And I think people don't like that, but also it's such a norm, it's such a normal part of society, it's such a normal part of going out and being in large groups of friends and celebrations and birthdays, weddings, Christmas, whatever, that when you don't do it, it's always like questioned. And again, like you said, never
yeah,
by my friends. My friends were always really calm with it. And I never had an issue saying to my friends, I don't really want to drink anymore, because it was quite gradual for me. It wasn't like one day I went, I'm not drinking. It was like I'd have one drink on a night out instead of three or four. And then the next time I went out, I wasn't really feeling it. So I wouldn't drink anything. And so it wasn't like I kind of had to say to everyone, like, I'm not doing it now, I'm stepping back. I think they all just kind of saw it happening and none of them questioned it. They were just like, okay, cool. Like, because again, I wasn't changing my behaviours. I was still going on the nights
yeah,
out. I was still having fun with my mates. I was still on the dance floor. Like, nothing I was doing was changing. So to them, it would make no difference. It was when I was making new friends,
yeah.
I was almost like, oh, yeah, no, I don't drink. And you'd see them kind of take a minute to process it as if it was like a really big deal. And to me, it's just not. And to my friends, it's not. But to some people, it's like the weirdest concept to them that I'm in my 20s and don't drink. I just find that so funny.
But like, it's interesting you mentioned like you use that word boring on
Mm.
how like people who don't understand that okay, you're not a drinker, therefore you can be boring on a night out where that's not necessarily true.
Oh, no.
You and I, for instance, like you mentioned, we've been on a few nights out
Yeah.
and we're still one on the karaoke dancing on the
Oh, yeah,
floor.
absolutely. Yeah.
Would you say though, throughout the years, people are becoming more accepting of people not drinking alcohol? Or do you think we're still
Um,
like stigmatized?
I think it's still stigmatized. I don't think there's been any change in how people perceive it. I think
Yeah,
there's a difference in how society want to perceive it. Like I think they want to be better about it. I think they're like introducing like every other drink has now got an alcohol free version of it, which
yeah,
like my go-to drink was always just a tonic water on its own, which for some people was like the weirdest concept ever, which I get because not everyone likes tonic water, but because there weren't all the other options out there of drinks you could have, like there wasn't non-alcoholic ciders at every bar you went to. Like some might have one, but like there wasn't non-alcoholic spirits, there wasn't non-alcoholic beers and ciders. My go-to drink was either a Diet Coke because I used to like rum and Coke, so I just have a Diet Coke, or a
yeah,
tonic on its own because I used to drink gin and tonic, so I just have tonic and a slice because that was all that what there was. Whereas now I think society are trying to be more accepting of it.
yeah,
There loads of companies are marketing all this like low and no alcohol like drink, which is really great. But I also think whether I'm ordering a non-alcoholic cider or a Diet Coke, it's still going to get the same reaction. It's still not alcohol. And if you're with people that
yeah,
accept it, they're not going to care either way. And if you're with people that are going to be like, oh, you're drinking Diet Coke, if I order a non-alcoholic cider, they're going to be like, oh, you've got a non-alcoholic cider. Like I think people's perception to it hasn't changed at all.
no,
Um, but I think there is kind of like, especially on social media, they're trying to make it a more normal thing to be
yeah,
out and not have a drink. I went to Lincoln last weekend for a friend's birthday, and two of the bars I went in were offering free pints of like Diet Coke or whatever soft drink you wanted if you were a designated driver. And I've
Okay.
never seen that before. And I thought that was really cool. I
Yeah.
said, I turned around to
Wow.
my girlfriend and my mates, I was like, I'm drinking for free in this bar. And they were like,
Yeah,
yeah, your
that's
drinks aren't that
that's
expensive
incredible.
anyway. I was like, I don't care. Like, but I just thought it was a really cool like initiative that they've done. Like, if
Yeah.
you showed them the car keys and sort of said to them, I want a Diet Coke, they would just give you a pint of Diet Coke for free with the round, because you were taking the initiative to be the smart one, or not smart one, that's unfair on everyone else, to be the one that is the designated driver, to be the one that isn't drinking, looking after your mates. Like, they kind of acknowledged that. And I thought that was a really cool
Yeah,
idea,
that's
because it, like I said before, like when people think it's a bit boring, you can kind of add that element of like, well, I've got a free round, mate. Like,
yeah,
you just paid
exactly.
£9 for that pint. My drink was for free. Like, it
Yeah.
just adds that little something you can like banter with, like
You
for
can
the
make a
people that
joke
do
on
find
there
it
as it counts.
strange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most
So that was
definitely.
really cool. So I think society is trying to change its opinion on it. I think for the individuals, in what I found, aren't changing. But
Yeah,
again, like I'm surrounded a lot of the time by stereotypically rugby lads, football lads, heavy
yeah,
metal music supporters that are really into their drinking whiskey straight and bourbon.
yeah,
Like stereotypically, those people all do love a good drink. And so for them, I don't think that how they perceive it is changing. Um and no, I've never had real problems with it. I don't think anything particularly nasty about it, but I do think it is still a shock to the system when you say you're not drinking. I don't think that's changed.
yeah. And I think I can agree more because I feel like depending what group you're associated with, where it's a mental block of like, oh, I'm struggling to comprehend why you're not drinking. Like,
Mm,
just have a drink.
yeah.
As so many people got different reasons. But has there been a moment for you where you've felt tempted to drink again or not?
Yeah, definitely. Christmas is always one for me. So I
Yeah.
love a mulled wine at Christmas. And again, it's easier now because you can get non-alcoholic mulled wine everywhere. But for years it wasn't really a thing. If you did find it, it was really hard to come by. And so I used to have to like stock up on it like all in the lead up to Christmas. And me and my mum, like I'd always go around my mum's house and we'd make a really big deal of decorating the Christmas tree, putting all the
Yeah.
lights up. We'd have like Christmas music on in the background. And when I was like in my teens, late teens, me and her for like 3 or 4 years would have a mulled wine while we were doing it. And even when I was like 15 years old, like when my mum had her mates around, they'd always give me like a small glass of mulled wine. It's not going to tip you over the edge. Like it's Christmas time, have one. It's a bit of fun. So for me, like in those situations, that's the one that always I'm like, oh, maybe I could just have like a mulled wine. And
Yeah.
I would love to, but because I haven't drunk in so long, I am so aware that if I have one glass of wine, I am going to be on my backside for the rest of
Yeah,
the
the
night.
alcohol
Like it's,
tolerance will come down.
yeah, I can't just start again. And so when I found non-alcoholic mulled wine, that was like the game changer for me because I actually really like the taste of mulled wine. And I think a lot of the time people don't actually like the taste of the alcohol they're drinking. They're doing it for the social aspect. I have got no desire to go and have another gin and tonic because the bit I like the taste of is the tonic. So I don't miss the gin. Whereas at Christmas time, when I was having like mulled apple juice and everyone else had the mulled wine and I could smell the mulled wine, I was like, oh my God, I really miss this because I used to, it's like a really festive feeling. I've got like loads of like, it just brings back all these like happy memories. And so for years at Christmas time, I was like, I really wish I still drunk so I could have a mulled wine with my mum. Whereas now, mum will put hers on like one hob and then on another hob, she'll just have mine going. And it's
Okay,
like,
yeah,
I feel like I'm part of it again. And actually, again, it's not the alcohol I missed at all. It was actually the flavour of that drink and the smell of that drink and the memories alongside
yeah,
it. So yeah, for a while I really was like, oh, if I was still drinking, I could have a mulled wine and it wouldn't kill me off. And I'd
yeah,
like to do that. But again, as soon as all these big companies jumped on the bandwagon of we can make low and no alcoholic versions for people that don't drink, for people that are pregnant this time of year, for people
yeah.
that because their religion don't drink, whatever it might be. There's now that option for me to have a mulled wine at Christmas and not feel like I'm missing out. But other than that, I've never really missed it or wanted to go back to it.
Yeah, and I think with these companies who are inventing these non-alcohol drinks, it is helping people still feeling like they are drinking and they can
Mhm.
associate that previous memory.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
and especially
definitely.
Christmas as well, or maybe birthdays,
Yeah,
or potentially in the summer. Like how many
yeah.
people associate the sun
Oh,
with drinking alcohol?
absolutely.
Like
Yeah,
now
I
you can have
went to a
non-alcohol.
barbecue two
Yeah,
days ago and I took like an 8 pack of Inches 0% cider just because I like it's just nice to have that crisp cidery taste in the summer because again when I did drink that's what I used to do.
yeah,
And one of the guys there was driving and he wasn't drinking and he said to me like, oh, like it's a bit boring isn't it when you're not drinking, and I was like, oh, I don't mind it personally.
yeah,
He's like, it's more the fact he's like that I've just been drinking Diet Coke all day and I'm so bloated from it, and I was like, oh, do you want to try one of my non-alcoholic
yeah,
ciders? And he's like a big drinker. And he was like, oh, I didn't even realize Inches did non-alcoholic ciders.
yeah,
That's one of my favorite ciders. I was like, I'll give it a try. And he was like, this is really good. Like, you wouldn't really know. Like, you can tell, but like, it's not awful. I was like, no, not at all. And he's like, that's a game changer for me because I can it still tastes the same. I'm still having a good time with my mates. I'm not just the one who's constantly drinking tap water and getting bored. Like, at least there's drinks that taste like what I'm used to, that associate with these memories and these hot sunny days. So yeah, I think that makes a massive difference, because I can assume, like he said, he was just drinking kind of like water and Diet Coke all day, and he was getting really bored of it. Whereas as soon as I said, "Oh no, like I've got a load of cans here, like have one," he was like way happier with that, because it's what he knows and it's what he's
Yeah.
used to.
The thing is, it's in my opinion, and like please like disagree if you think I'm wrong, but like I feel like the companies are improving with a taste to make it taste exactly the way like well, I've got like
Yeah.
for instance, I remember in Bristol 2 years ago, I had a
Mm.
non-alcoholic Guinness, and when I had a first taste, I know,
Yeah.
I
No.
I was saying no, thank you, but I did have
Yeah.
one recently, and I was like, this tastes is
It's
like
all
a
right.
Guinness.
Yeah.
It's actually not too bad. I'm not too sure, maybe because I've had a few times I got used to taste,
Yeah.
but I can
And I
definitely
think the
tell
longer
the
you don't have something,
difference.
the more you forget what it actually tastes like.
Yeah, that's
Like
a
if I
very good
gave
point.
a non-alcoholic inches to someone who just drunk 2 pints of actual inches, they might not say the same thing. But to
No,
someone who hasn't drunk it in 7 years and that's their first time having a non-alcoholic cider, it's pretty close to what I remember cider tasting like. It's not different enough that it bothers me. But the first time I had a non-alcoholic gin and tonic, I had one sip and I didn't touch it. It was absolutely awful. And my mate was drinking gin and tonics that I went out with, and she had some. And she was like, "Is it really that bad?" I'm like, "I don't. It doesn't even taste like gin, and it's so overpowering. You can't even taste the tonic anymore. It just tastes like, it was like almost smoky." I was like, "I don't know what they've
yeah,
tried to do." And she had a sip of it and she was like, "That is vile." I was like, "Yeah, like I'd rather just have the tonic without any gin, non-alcoholic or alcoholic. Like just it's not worth it because it tasted so bad." But no, I do think they're definitely improving the taste of the alcohol, the non-alcoholic drinks that replicate the alcohol massively. And I think it's probably easier to do with ciders and stuff because they have got that taste of them that you can just
yeah,
replicate. Whereas the spirits, I don't really drink non-alcoholic spirits, so I can't really speak for them, but I would assume they've got better as well.
yeah. So would you say, while drinking alcohol, that your confidence have improved, but then that has actually paid off in like maybe your employment, your social life?
Um, I don't know. I've because I haven't drunk alcohol since I was 20. I was
Yeah,
like, I was quite young when I stopped drinking, so I've only really known adulthood. Like, don't get me wrong,
yeah,
18 you're an adult, but 18 to 20 adulthood's kind of a bit patchy at the best of times. I wouldn't have called myself an adult then. So my like adulthood, like with a established job, going into work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, working hard. Um, that I've only ever done that, not drinking. And I've seen my mates do it where they've had to like rock up to work the next day after drinking and it's taken a toll on them. And I would just like to think that even if I still drunk, I wouldn't jeopardize my career enough to do that, to go out
yeah,
on a Friday, on a Thursday night, not get home to 1 in the morning, be absolutely obliterated, and then turn up to work the next day. I work with kids, like they would call that out. They would know in a heartbeat
yeah,
that that's what was going on. Like, like when people turn up to work in sunglasses, like, "Oh, it's just a sunny day." Like I've done it before. I've like walked in sunglasses because I've driven to work,
yeah,
and they're like, "Why are you wearing sunglasses? Did you go out last night?" I'm like,
yeah.
"No,
They
it's just
associate
really
that
sunny."
already.
But if
Yeah,
I had, those kids are going to call me out on it the second I walk through the door. Like it's just not something that I would feel comfortable doing. I don't know if that's just a personal thing or my line of work where I work with young people. Um, but it's never really impacted that side of my life because I've only known it like this. I've never known rocking up to work having had 2 hours sleep and been drinking. Don't get me wrong, like I go to gigs all the time. Like I'll not get
yeah.
in till 2, 3 in the morning, having gone to the after party of a gig where everyone else is drinking. I'm stone cold sober, and I'll still feel rough the next day at work because I've only had three
So
hours sleep.
imagine with
But
with the alcohol. Yeah,
I know I can pull myself together enough to go in to be present for the lessons I need to teach, and I can do that day's work. I know I can do that on little sleep, but I don't think I'd be able to do that if I still had alcohol in my system. I wouldn't think that's appropriate to do for starters.
no,
Um, and so for some people that works. And again, I think if you have like an office job or if you're working in certain industries, like if you work in a bar, if you work in the music industry, even in the sport industry, I'm sure there's probably less of a kind of like frown on it. There's probably a bit more
yeah,
leeway for that. But in the lifestyle I've always had and in the career I've always had, I've always been a teacher. I've always worked with kids since I left school. It would just never, even if I still drunk, cross my mind to
yeah.
pull an all night out and then turn up to work either
It's a
still boozed up or
safeguarding
hanging
issue as
over.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
most certainly. So, and lastly, what advice would you give to someone considering stopping drinking?
try it. Just try
Yeah,
it. Like, I think there's a difference between going completely cold turkey and stopping. Like I said, for me, it was a case of I just slowly pulled away from it. I didn't
yeah,
decide one day I wasn't going to drink anymore. I just kind of evaluated every time I went out if I actually wanted the alcohol. Like, do
yeah,
I really want it because I love the taste of it? Do I really want it because I want to get drunk? Or am I having it because I'm out and everyone's drinking and that's what you do? And actually 9 times out of 10 it was the latter. Like I was just as happy, like I said, having a tonic water instead of a gin and tonic. I was more than happy to get on the dance floor without anyone else needing to give me alcohol to like gee me up to get my confidence to do it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just would go, actually, I don't need it tonight. And then because that night went really well and I didn't spend 100 quid at the bar, I didn't
Yeah.
wake up with a hangover, and I had a really good time with all my mates, and I felt safe enough to get myself home. And I was aware enough of the situation around me that I felt like, especially being a girl out with girls, if anything
Yeah.
happened, I'm quite brazen. I don't mind standing up for myself and my friends. If I'm intoxicated, I might not be aware that something's happening. I might not see it. I might not handle it the best way. Whereas I've always prided myself in being really good in an argument.
Yeah.
So if someone came over and said something I didn't like, I knew that I was compass mentis enough to turn around and go, no, that's not happening. Have a conversation and diffuse the situation instead of being really like drunk and like escalating it and heat, like adding
Yeah.
heat to the situation. So actually, once I'd done a few nights like that, I preferred it. I was like, this is so much more for me. I haven't broken the bank on my night out. I feel a lot safer. I know that my friends are getting home safe because I can drive them, or at least put them in a taxi
Yeah.
and be aware of what's going on. And so then the next time I wanted to do it again, like I preferred that situation. So it wasn't like a conscious effort where I went out and I was like, right, that's it, I'm never drinking again. I just tried it one time and it worked for me. So then I just kept doing it. So I think if anyone was considering it, like considering like a sober night out or a sober month or a sober year, like try it, because
Yeah.
you might actually prefer it and not realize, and putting the pressure on yourself to go, I'm not drinking anymore, I'm not doing it ever again, that can be quite daunting when that's something that's a big part of your social life. Whereas if you just try it one time, you might find that that suits you better and your social life better. And then that doesn't mean you can't like ever have a drink ever again. You might go out the next time and decide, maybe I'll just have one or two. Like I don't need like 5, 6 beers. I can just do one or two this time. And then yeah, as time goes on, you might find actually you pull away from it altogether because it just suits you better. It suits your lifestyle better. For me, there's like huge health benefits to it. I don't feel like groggy the next day. Like there's all these little things that you obviously know are beneficial, but
Yeah.
until you've experienced them, you actually go out, they kind of outweigh the might like that, it kind of outweighs it. Like yeah, it's really good being really drunk with my mates, but all these other things outweigh that, and I don't need it in my life anymore. So I'd definitely say if anyone was considering it, just to try it, jump in and try it, because you might surprise yourself.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that you mentioned just simply just try, just have a go, because
Yeah.
and not putting too much pressure on yourself, because there's no
Yeah.
need to be saying, oh, I'm not going to drink alcohol again in my entire life.
Yeah.
Just simply be like, actually, I'm going to try 1 month. If I
Yeah.
feel okay, I'm not going to drink, or
Yeah.
potentially I'll just reduce the amount. Because
Yeah.
I think, like, prior to this interview, I did do some research, and so many different ways to stop drinking alcohol. But I think I probably agree with you. Just simply come to the conclusion of
Try it.
just try it, because we're all
Yeah.
unique. Because
Yeah.
like, but the only thing I will give advice to people is unfortunately you will, the likelihood you're going to come across people who may slightly criticize slightly, and if
Yeah. Not
so,
everyone's going to support that
no,
decision. People don't like things that aren't the ordinary.
and if so, just remember why you even thought of stop drinking, and
Hmm.
just and you got to put yourself first.
Yeah, 100%. I've always
And
found the people that criticize it as well tend to be the ones that are really into their drinking. And
yeah,
again, I've always, might be my way of dealing with it, but I've always thought it's more of a reflection on them.
yeah,
I have the ability to step back and not have a drink and still have a good time. They might not be able to do that. They might not be able to have a good time without a drink. And for me, that's quite sad that that's their reality.
yeah,
And so in my head, when they're then going to me like, that's really weird that you don't drink, that's really boring that you don't drink, I'm just like, I think it's really sad that you need to drink, but I'm not going to say that. That's your business. That's between you and your personal lifestyle choices. But then when people come at me and they don't support it, I'm like, okay, but I can guarantee there's a good reason that you don't support it. And it probably reflects more on you than it does on me. So
yeah,
it's never really, I'm quite lucky, I've got quite thick skin, it's never really bothered me. But I can imagine for a lot of people, especially if you're someone that is a drinker and you've done it for a long time, like I said, I only drank for a few years in my teens, it wasn't that hard for me to walk away from. If I
yeah,
drunk up to the age of 26 now and then try to walk away from it, I can imagine it'd be a bit different. I imagine all my friends would still support me the exact same way that they have. I surround myself with really lovely people, so I'm really fortunate in that sense. But I do imagine, like you said, like it probably does come with some backlash if you decide to stop drinking. But you've got to do what's right for you at the end of the day. And people wouldn't get annoyed at you if you stopped wearing a certain colour. If all of a sudden you stop wearing white t-shirts, no one's going to be like, oh, you're not
yeah.
wearing white shirts anymore. That's a personal choice for you. No one's going to, like, no one would care. Literally no one would care. It makes no difference then what colour shirt you wear. It makes no difference then if you're drinking on a night out or not. Like, do it for you, try it, see what goes on. Like, that would be my advice.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, that comes to a conclusion of the interview. Well, thank you, Zoe, for coming on today. I
Of
genuinely
course.
appreciate that. And these type of videos, it's not about, if over 200 people take away something, excellent. But as long as someone takes some little information away from this, that's all we want. Anything else you would like to add, Zoe?
I don't think so. I think just whatever makes you happy. And if you've got good friends, they'll support you no matter what you do. So
Yeah, wise words, wise words. But thank you.
thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.